All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back. All right, so we got 3 segments in this video. We're going to go over the massive explosion in New York City and what caused it and whether it's terror, whatever. I mean, obviously, everybody, that's the first thought that you have. It's a huge explosion in, in New York City, whether, what caused it. Was it terrorists? So we're going to go through that. Then I'm going to show you guys one of the most crazy calls for violence against law enforcement. Just right out there. Like, I don't understand. How is this person not in jail? We're going to look at that. Oh, and in addition to the calls for violence from her, we're also going to look at a very shocking statistic, which is, statistic is not the right word. It appears like you have this absolute fever pitch of protesters in DC who are responding to what's going on, what Trump has done, etc. And I'm going to show you how it is fabricated, okay? Not real, okay? Check this out. We're going to look at this story right here. So DC paid protester requests surged 400% amid Trump's federal takeover of the city police, okay? So again, they're paid protesters. Okay, and we're going to look at that again in the second segment. And then in the third segment, I cannot stress this enough, you have to stay around for the third segment. Okay, you have to. It is a wild story. I don't want to give anything away, but I will at least tell you there is a video of a judge absolutely, completely wigging out on the defendant. And the defendant, I'm very curious whether you guys think he deserves it or not, but there's a much larger kind of implication on global society as a result of the story that we're talking about. So I know I'm being vague, but trust me, stay around for the third segment and then tell me in the comments what you think of that. But let's get right into it right now. All right, so we got a massive Upper East Side fire in New York City that has been described as an explosion when it first happened. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I hear New York City explosion, what's the first thing that I think of? What's the first thing everybody thinks of? It's like, oh, terrorists, or is this, or did some lady leave her gas on or something? You know what I mean? Like the distance between the options of what can cause an explosion in New York City are pretty large. But nonetheless, I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea. I honestly don't even know what caused it. So we're going to find out together. But I do know that there are videos of this thing. And so we're going to look at all of that. So you know what, actually, let's start with the article and then we'll look at the videos. All right. Because, again, I mean, an explosion rocked Manhattan's Upper East Side and sent plumes of smoke into the skies over New York City Friday. Around 170 firefighters and first responders were called to 305 East 95th Street at around 10 a.m. Friday morning after a massive fire broke out inside a pre-war apartment building. What's a pre-war apartment building? Does anybody know the answer to that? Like, what's a pre-war apartment building? Obviously, somebody knows. Let's look it up, actually. What's a pre-war apartment building meaning? So it's a pre-war building in New York refers to apartments built between the late 1800s and the onset of World War II. Oh, okay. So it means old as fuck. So old as fuck building. Super, super old building exploded. All right. So witnesses reported hearing a loud boom, which sounded like a bomb going off. Nice. That's not scary at all. Every single person who lives in New York has PTSD forever if they were around during 9/11, I assume. Like, that was, yeah. I mean, I know a handful of people who actually were in the city when it happened and saw the towers come down, and like they all have these crazy, super detailed stories of exactly how they experienced that. And I think it's one of those things I honestly can't even really imagine what that would have been like. The craziest videos that you'll ever see of, that kind of put you in the shoes of the people who experienced that are like the girls who are like on cell phone videos and they're filming from their balcony. You know what I mean? And like you can hear the absolute terror in their voice. As a matter of fact, I'm going to open this video with that really quick. Oh my God, look at this clip that I just found, and try to imagine this experience of 9/11 if you're this guy. This is a survivor who was actually in one of the towers when the plane hit, and look at this recreation. Look how good this is.
React. Or I'm looking at this plane and it's getting bigger, bigger, bigger. Lord, I can't do this, you take over. And I dove under my desk.
Now, obviously, it's one of the biggest tragedies of all time, and I am certainly not laughing about the reality of what that was, but how good is that recreation? How bananas.
Lord, I can't do this, you take over. And I dove under my desk.
That's wild, dude. That's probably one of the best recreations of anything I've ever seen. I couldn't find any of the ones that I was talking about, and I want to like get this story out, so we're just going to move forward. But so one of the witnesses says, I heard an explosion from my building just opposite the fire. I looked outside and saw all the smoke and in the skies. Fire was sparked by an accumulation of gas inside of the basement. Report. Okay, so it sounds like this. It was a gas leak. Okay, so flames were seen raging on the rooftop after the fire spread to the counter or to the top floor apartments. According to Citizen, no occupants were in the affected units at the same time. So it sounds like, okay, so no occupants were in the affected units at the time, but the building's superintendent was the basement when the fire broke out, and he's being treated for minor injuries. FDNY told the Daily Mail 3 firefighters also sustained minor injuries. Okay, so this isn't like that big of a deal. But you know what is a big deal is if you have not subscribed to my channel and liked this video, because that would really hurt my feelings, and that's all you guys obviously care about. All right, well, let's take a look at the actual videos of this incident, though. So a major fire erupted in Manhattan's Upper East Side Friday morning, sending plumes of black smoke over New York City. Around 170 firefighters responded to the 7-story apartment building on the East 95th Street, battling flames, and he goes, okay. Yada, yada, yada. Let's actually look at the, look at this. Damn, that's a big fire, man. It's a big explosion to cause that, too. Like downtown New York. That's a serious. Dude, I wish they had a video of the actual explosion. Now that I know no one died, you know what I mean? Now that I know no one died, I would like to see the actual video, obviously. You know what I mean? All right, so now let's move over to segment 2 and let's listen to, let's listen to this woman telling us why black people should start shooting all of the police in Washington, D.C., and then we'll comment a little bit about that.
Black people in D.C., get your and take care of them police officers like they should have been taken care of 50 years ago.
Like, it is so bananas to me that they actually think that they can just put this stuff on the internet. Okay? That is a crime, lady. You put your face on the internet and said, hey, calling all black people in Washington, D.C., get a gun and start killing police officers. Like, I don't understand. You understand the only limitation to freedom of speech is incitement of violence. Like, it's literally like the only thing. It's like, that's it. You can say anything else you want, okay? You just can't incite people to commit violence. And of all of the ways to incite people to commit violence, I think incentive or telling people to commit, murder against the people who enforce the law is probably the most short-sighted, idiotic way that you could do it. Like, do you really not, like, you think they're not going to find you? You know? I honestly, this is what I want. I want follow-ups to these stories, okay? Like, I want follow-ups to all of the things that Libs of TikTok tags the FBI in, because you can't live in a society where a person can come up and say, like, hey guys, you know how we fight back against this thing that's happening in DC, which I assume they're talking about Trump's, deploying the National Guard or whatever we're doing there, is like, oh, just start killing them, guys. Here's my face. Look, get that gun. Start killing them. It's like, that can't be allowed. Like, you can't allow people to talk like that. You need to arrest her. Now, as advertised, also relatively relevant information here. DC paid protester requests surged 400% amid Trump's federal takeover of city police, said Crowd Company. Okay. So the CEO says vast majority of political event attendees in Washington are paid. Like, I know this is like one of the most overused terms ever, which is the world is a stage, but the world is a stage. Okay. The world is, look at this. Now, this right here, if you are just a regular person trying to evaluate what the sentiment of, the civilization that you live in is, this is a pretty powerful message right here. It's like, wow, look at the number of people who feel strong enough to come out and they'll protest against Trump and they'll protest against what he's doing. They're all getting paid. Okay, that's what we just find out in this article. They're all being paid. Like, I know that we kind of know that protesting is a really big thing, but this is coming from the CEO of the company. 400% surge. Okay, it's just wild, dude. A crowd rental company has seen a massive uptick in inquiries regarding its services in Washington, D.C. amid President Trump's move to federalize the police force in the nation's capital. Right now, D.C. inquiries are up 400% compared to the same period in 2024. Oh, wow. So are you saying that the Democrats are more likely to pay protesters than the Republicans, sounds like. The company always sees a spike in requests during what's high stakes political moments. Well, okay. You know, so what that means is that when there's lots of money at stake or people see a big potential swing politically, they go and they stack the deck and they pretend like people are going to the streets in order to protest when they're not, right? So a large share are focused on opposing, a large share are focused on opposing Trump's policies in Washington and raising the alarm about government overreach. We're weighing those offers carefully because there's truth in saying DC's local government has been an abject failure in keeping citizens safe. There's also a real danger in putting too much power in federal hands. That balance of power matters. So it sounds like he's saying, like, we don't just send out protesters no matter what. We actually evaluate what the cause is, you know, for why we're sending them out there. But make no mistake, they're getting paid, okay? So it's inorganic. It's not real. They're fake, okay? Most people don't know this, but many protesters are literally on the payroll. Capitol staffers from both parties are often expected to show up at rallies and protests on their own time. So yes, most attendees are being paid or are there because it's part of their job. That doesn't mean they don't support the cause, but it does mean these crowds are not as organic as they seem. Oh yeah. Like, look at this, dude. Look at this. Demonstrators outside the U.S. Capitol in front of I mean, like, you know, this one's about Israel, but I don't know, like the whole concept of paid protesters is completely wild to me. You know, it's just wild. Like, they're not real. They're fake. Everybody looks at, like, think about the BLM riots, or think about the BLM and think about the riots. Okay. So if you have people paying people to be out in the street and you also have people who are trying to make it seem like the entire, you know, country has been destabilized, how far-fetched is it that you think that maybe a lot of those are being paid to not only protest, but then to start shit and start burning stuff? You know what I mean? I don't know, dude. Anyway, let's move on. And again, the big segment is still forthcoming. It's about AI and it's in the court. You'll see in a second. All right, I can't wait any longer. This is the story, okay? This is, I'm sorry. Hopefully you guys think this is as crazy as I do. But so a man tried to use an AI-generated lawyer in court, okay? Now, to put into perspective what we're talking about here, okay, let me go to, like, here. So check this out, like, AI salesperson, okay? Like, this is like very, very common now, you know, is like these things that, here you go, listen. So
meet your AI sales agent and listen to this remarkable sales conversation.
Oh,
Hey, James.
yeah, who's this?
Hey, James. It's Alexander from Tesla Motors. How's your day going so far?
It's going pretty good, my man. How about yourself? You said from Tesla, right? The car company?
Yeah, that's right. I'm calling from Tesla Motors, the car company.
It's really good, right? And actually, if I wanted to take, like, more time, I would find, like, these, like, generated AI things, just to put in perspective how close it is to this not being that crazy of a story. But just watch this attorney, or I'm sorry, the judge just cooked this dude because he tried to use an AI generated lawyer in court, okay?
May it please the court. I come here today a humble pro se before a panel of 5 distinguished justices.
Is this, hold on. Is that counsel for the case?
I generated that.
I'm sorry?
I generated that? That is not a real person.
Okay, it would have been nice to know that when you made your application. You did not tell me that, sir. I received the application. And you have appeared before this court and been able to testify verbally in the past. You have gone to my clerk's office and held verbal conversations with our staff for over 30 minutes. Okay? I don't appreciate being misled. So either you are suffering from an ailment that prevents you from being able to articulate, or you don't. You are not going to use this courtroom as a launch for your business, sir. So if you are able to shut that off. If you want to have oral argument time, you may stand up and give it to me.
Okay, so here's why that is so funny is A, it's just hilarious that she cooked him that hard. But number two is, like, That is really what's coming. Okay. Like the reason this is such like a poignant topic that I made you guys wait around for is specifically to make it clear that like, when we say that everyone is going to get like phased out by AI, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. If you think that there is not going to be like AI generated attorneys that represent people in court, you're crazy. Like that's going to happen. And you really need to think about how powerful that can be when they get good enough, which is not very long off, right? Because ultimately, like what makes a good attorney? Okay. Charisma and the ability to like, if we're talking about like a trial attorney, but behind all of that, what makes a really great attorney is the ability to to do research and like have all of these access to these different cases, because you're establishing precedent with prior cases, right? That's why, like, at least as far as I know, like the best attorneys are these like tandems of, you have one person who's kind of the upfront person who's the great trial attorney, and then you have someone behind the scenes who's like incredible at research. And so they don't want to be a trial attorney. They want to do the work on the backside, and they team up. They give it to the guy who's out front. They go in and they just melt the jury. But like, if you understand how these AI models work, or these language models, they literally have access to every single case that has ever happened instantly. Okay. Like that's what I'm saying. The research, like if I was going to represent myself, I would go into the ChatGPT model and just punch in like, so here's my case. This is what I'm facing. Can you please list any relevant cases that might support me being innocent of this crime? And it'll give you like super detailed, exactly which case, why it supports your position, so on and so forth, etc. Okay. So unless they make it like honestly, whether or not they allow a digitized AI lawyer into the courtroom or not, this is already happening. Like that, exactly what I just laid out. That's already happening, because why would you not use that resource? Like that's how powerful AI is. But I do think it's hilarious that this dude actually tried to just generate an attorney that was going to come in on, like, this is so crazy, dude. Like, he really thought this was going to be a good idea. And like when they're all, wait, what is this? He's like, I generated that. You're all, why would you have thought that that was going to, like, why was it, what? It's an AI, and it's a very clear AI. Like, I don't know why he thought that he was going to be able to get away with this at all, but it is, look at, and this is exactly, yeah, laugh now, but this will be the future. 100%. 100%. Exactly that. Shut that off. It's so true, dude. Oh my God. That is so funny, man. Absolutely hilarious. Anyway, that's what I got for today. Love you guys. Bye-bye.